Well, so tonight on the program, we'll take you behind the scenes to hear firsthand from INEC and the main political parties in the November 16 Bayelsa governorship election. What is their level of preparedness? Are they committed to a violence-free election? And some accusations have also come up, and we'll try to get response to that. And we'll also find out which of the parties perhaps has the upper hand, maybe. So let's join our guests in Abuja. We have Elder Yomi Akinwumi. He is a Deputy National Chairman of the PDP. Also, Mr. Cletus Obun, an APC chieftain and a former member of the House of Representatives, joins us. And next to them is Mr. Festus Okoye, INEC's National Commissioner. Thank you so much for joining us on the program this evening. So the last time we had, stakeholders in the same room like this, that was in Bayelsa State, it turned out rowdy. And it usually begs the question, why is our politics and elections always tainted with one form of violence or the other? So, Elder Akinwumi, I'd like to ask you, why does it seem to be the usual case when it comes to politics and elections in Nigeria where we see some form of violence?
Well, thank you very much. Maturity varies from person to person. It varies from organization to organization. I can only talk for my own party, PDP. In PDP, we have given enough political education to our followers to play the rule according to the game, to play the game according to the rule, to obey all the laid-down rules. So when you see crisis, I was not in Bayelsa anyway, but I doubt it cannot be from our party. It can never be, because we have had seminars, symposiums, many things for our party on the conduct of because we're in opposition. We have to set example. We have to live by example. We have tested power before. And so we are in position to educate our people on the need for them to prepare for election, and them preparing for election is not by violence. It's not by thuggery. If you are sure of yourself, you don't have to be violent. You don't have to employ thug. If you are sure you want to win election, it is the people you want to talk to the people. It is the power of the people that matters. Talking to the people matters, not by bringing thug militants to destroy program. So we don't believe in that. So it can never be from us. But I cannot say for other parties. You remember that about 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 parties participating in this election. But it can originate from anywhere there. But right. I can only vouch for my party that it can never be our own party.
Okay, thankfully we have a representative of the APC with us on the program tonight. So, Mr. Cletus Obun, Elder Akinwumi says, the violence is not usually from his party. So, it's now over to you. Why do we seem to keep having these issues? Or is your party responsible?
Well, I do think that this very escapist answer is not dealing with the issue as it ought to be. When a butcher says he does not know how a knife looks like, I don't understand that type of language in an abattoir. I do not understand that for 16 years of staying in power, the word impunity that became a mantra in our political space and political dictionary suddenly is being denied by the authors and purveyors of that very ugly past, in which in 2003, 2007, a sitting president contesting an election says to you, election is do or die. And by 2019, 4 years after leaving office out of 20, you come and make a proclamation. I do think we should be more altruistic, more patriotic to deal with the issue of violence as it affects our polity. And this has been a political culture from 1999, which we are trying to get over. So the hangover is still very deep, and it will not take 4 years to cancel that 16 years. And APC as a party has done everything and demonstrated that it can be as peaceful as peace can be. Otherwise, you can't win an election in Zamfara State, all the elections, from governorship to the Senate to everything, and lose it with a stroke of the pen from a court. When we know that people like Salami, president of the Court of Appeal, had a judgment arrested, and then he himself dismissed in ignominious circumstances by the NJC under circumstances that we have not recovered from till today. We cannot also be talking about violence in APC when APC can sit in Rivers State with a campaign manager of the president of Nigeria being barred from his party being barred from contesting, and there was nothing seen. Even when APC did not contest the election, the accusations were that it was APC. So I do not understand how a player who was not in the field can be given a red card at home. So I do think that this culture of violence that has been instituted in Nigeria and has become part of it, which APC is trying to wipe out, has to stop. And I'm happy that President Buhari and the APC led by Adams Oshomole have demonstrated the election can be won without violence. And that happened in Rivers State, Edo State, when Comrade Oshomole was governor, was struggling to be governor. For 3 years, he was in the tribunal as ACN. Then
okay, so let's bring Mr. Festus Okoye in. Mr. Obo, just a moment. Let's bring Mr. Okoye in. So, Mr. Okoye, as it stands now, both political parties are saying they're not responsible for, the string of violence we've seen here and there, across elections in the country. You are the electoral umpire, and you've done series of reviews. What have you found out? And, at these meetings you have with political parties, what do you tell them?
Well, I think that we must get the registered political parties in Nigeria to commit to peaceful and non-violent election. As of today, most of the political parties pay lip service to the issue of peaceful elections. For them, election is war. While for the Independent National Electoral Commission, we train our electoral officers, we train our ad hoc staff, and we train all our election officials to go and conduct elections as envisaged by the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999, as amended. So I really believe that the signs we are seeing in both Bayelsa and in Kogi states are not good signs. We are really worried as an electoral management body that the political parties are doing things and saying things and acting in a manner that shows that we may not have peaceful elections. We are training young men and young women to deploy them as ad hoc staff to go and conduct elections. We are also spending taxpayers' money to print ballot papers and procure both sensitive and non-sensitive materials. And these things can only be deployed and elections can only be conducted under a very peaceful atmosphere. So I think that the Nigerian people must weigh in and get the political parties and the candidates to commit themselves to peaceful and non-violent elections because we cannot afford to bring our young men and young women to harm on the basis of the fact that the leading political parties or the registered political parties are not ready to play by the rules of the game. So we are talking to them, we are appealing to them, and we're also talking to the security agencies to make sure that the political parties that are showing signs of violence or are trying to create an atmosphere of fear and anxiety within the polity are called to order so that we can have peaceful elections on the 16th day of November 2019.
Right. Elder Akiwami, both the APC and the PDP definitely cannot absolve themselves of this, the allegations and this string of violence that we have seen so far. And now INEC is saying they are worried, and if the electoral umpire is saying we're worried, and that's a major source of concern. So I'd like to know, we have 24 days before that election. What commitment are you given, briefly, to say that, we're going to conduct ourselves peacefully as a party?
Take you back into the memory lane in terms of violence, approach of PDP to violence and thuggery. The leader of our party in Bayelsa State is Dr. Ebele Jonathan. You accept that? It's Dr. Ebele Jonathan. You know his own approach to violence. He told the whole Nigeria that his own ambition is not worth the blood of anybody, any electorate. And he considered defeat. He considered defeat even when the process has not been concluded. His own ambition, his own personal ambition, he gave it out for Nigeria to survive, for thuggery not to thrive in Nigeria. What do you expect such a man to do when he's leader of the party in Bayelsa State? What do you expect? So I want to tell you that PDP has a culture of peace. We believe in peace. The last administration of PDP, the past president you are making reference to, we all know. But you didn't make reference to the last president of PDP, president of Nigeria, that is PDP, Ebele Jonathan. When he said that his own ambition is not worth the blood of anybody in Nigeria, he doesn't want anybody to shed blood because of own ambition. And the election had not been concluded when he considered and congratulated the winner. That is the spirit of democracy. That is the spirit of democracy. Which spirit is more than that? Even that has never happened in any part of Africa up to today. That a president is sitting president to concede defeat and then congratulate the winner before the conclusion of the process. So that is PDP. And the same man is the leader of the party in Bayelsa State today. So what are you talking about?
Right.
So I can assure you that PDP is prepared for election. PDP is prepared for peace. PDP is prepared for all votes to count. All votes to count.
Right.
All
We'll definitely
PDP
hold
is
you
already
to those promises. But, you know, Mr. Albo, I would like to ask, now, on one hand, there's this allegation that there's a possibility that the APC might want to use, you know, federal might to intimidate, you know, other political parties in this election. And there's also some allegation about plans for vote buying ahead of these elections. But we'll have to go on a break now. And when we return, we'll get your perspective on the federal might talk and allegations of vote buying. That's where we return on the program. Join us. Well, thank you for staying with us. Let's get back to the conversation. We'll still have with us on the program tonight, Elder Yomi Akinwumi is the Deputy National Chairman of the People's Democratic Party. He joins us from Abuja. And right next to him, we have Mr. Festus Okoye, is INEC's National Commissioner, and Mr. Clement Obu. He's an APC chieftain and a former member of the House of Representatives. Thank you so much for staying with us on the program. But before we get to that talk, you know, about federal might, the PDP Campaign Council actually rolled out, you know, subcommittees for the Bayelsa governorship election. So let's go through the members of this subcommittee and give you their names. So you have, there you have the names. We have the Council Advisory Board. The chairman is Governor Ifeanyi Okowa. And you see the secretary. The secretariat is to be chaired by Governor Amadu Fintiri, and the security area is to be handled by Governor David Umahi of Ebonyi State. Well, women are not left out. Women and Youth Affairs, the chairman is Governor Bello Matawale, and you see the venue and protocol, contact and mobilization. Other committees include strategy and intelligence, as well as publicity. But let's rejoin our guest in Abuja. And, you know, Mr. Obum, before we went on that break, I was going to ask you about talks that, I mean, suggest that the APC might want to use federal might, you know, against other parties in this election. How do you respond to that?
Well, the issue of vote buying.
No, this is about federal might.
Go to the
first.
market with an empty. Hello?
Yeah, I can hear you. The question is about federal might. Some people think that the APC might want to use federal might on other parties in this election. Is that true?
Yes, I heard you. I heard you clearly. The federal might question had been resolved in the 2019 election. Most states of the South-South, for example, almost all the South-South states, apart from Edo that was retained, still went back to PDP. So what was the federal might? And if there was no level playing field, will a man like Umahi, a man like Ebonyi State, a man like Wike of Rivers State, and such other persons be so friendly, and people like Benayade of Cross River State, he virtually calls himself the son of the president, because the president did not, and the country, and especially APC, allowed a level playing field, and nobody is in doubt that APC has done for Nigerian politics in the last 4 years, and especially during the 2019 election, and with all the reruns. We almost lost all the reruns in this country. And of course, like I said, 2 states, APC was completely out of it. Federal might would have played out on that stage. So if anybody is going to cry about federal might and anybody is expecting federal might, I'm a very deep member of this party. I can tell you that one of the biggest accusations against the Adams Oshimole-led national executive is that he's not interfering and intervening enough for the party in other states. And he has insisted that he came on board as governor through the popular vote, and therefore one man, one vote. If you remember, that was his mantra, that was his campaign. And as national chairman, he's not going to change that, coming especially from the labor background in which he had to go through several elections before going into the popular election as an ACN governor. So I want to tell you that the structure, since 2002, when President Buhari, General Buhari, as he then was, came out to say that after the fall of Russia, USSR, he now believed that democracy is the way to go, and therefore was ready to participate in elections. Okay. He went through elections and had the means to use his primary constituency, having been a former head of state, an infantry soldier, to come in and truncate democracy. He went to court 4 times. He never one day. He was not in doubt about it. Therefore, I am telling you that today, APC, led by Adams Oshimole, who had tested through the courts to become a governor, and this president who had contested 3 times and lost and went to court, will not turn around today to come and truncate democracy with federal might. I don't think that is cheap talk. But so let me get this point very clear.
Let's bring in Elder Akiwumi just a moment, because, I mean, a major concern also is the talk about vote buying. Now, Elder Akiwumi, there are reports that a certain 17.5 billion naira was withdrawn by certain proxies in Bayelsa State, and this has been going on and on. So I'd like you to respond, I mean, as a member of the PDP, is there anything such as this, and what's your stance on vote buying as a party?
Thank you very much. Vote buying, you know that it's a phenomenon, a new phenomenon in the electoral process in Nigeria. It started coming up, it came in 2015. We never heard of vote buying before 2015. All we used to hear was multiple voting, snatching of ballot box, and all the likes. But vote buying came from 2015 to today. And I'm surprised at what my friend is saying, that the APC has a tradition of peace. This is an isolated election. We call it isolated election. If you are having general election, you have to divide the number of police in Nigeria by the total number of states. But this time around, all the policemen are going to be deployed here. All the military are going to be deployed to Bayelsa and Kogi. And we know what happened in Osun State. How they intimidated people in Osun State. How they intimidated people in Ekiti State. How in Osun, for example, the APC were carrying white handkerchief. If you see you with one handkerchief, you will be allowed to go and vote. If you don't have white handkerchief, you'll be driven away from polling booth at the by-election that happened. So this is the fear. As a matter of fact, I don't want to deceive you. We are exercising fear right now because the international observers and local observers that observed 2019, they said the election of 2019 was far below standard of 2015. Meaning that the work of Mahmoud Yakubu is far, far below that of Ataharu Jaga. He never performed as much as Ataharu Jaga. They were unanimous, both international, both local, particularly EU, European Union. They said the standard of the election was far, far below standard, and it was condemned. Everybody condemned 2015 election, 2019 election. What would we expect in an isolated election of just 2 states? Now, if the whole election of Nigeria can be condemned by all the observers that came to Nigeria,
I think it's fair to allow INEC. I think it's fair to allow INEC respond to some of the statements you made. So, Mr. Festus Okoye, there's a statement Elder Akiwumi made on one hand, but add to this the statement by INEC's chairman saying that Kogi and Bayelsa are difficult states to actually conduct elections. So, is this some form of anticipatory disclaimer on the part of INEC?
No. The history is there, the precedent is there, and the antecedents are there. And we just came back from Bayelsa and from Kogi states. We've had health stakeholders meeting in all these places. And you can see that we keep on emphasizing the fact that we are ready for this election, but the political parties are not preparing for elections. They are preparing for something different. So the issue is that we are ready. By Monday, we are going to deploy 3 resident electoral commissioners each to Bayelsa and to Kogi as support resident electoral commissioners. And as the election proceeds, we are going to deploy additional resident electoral commissioners and national commissioners to go and superintend and give support to the resident electoral commissioners in both states. We have also intensified the training of ad hoc staff that we conduct this particular election. And we're also begging the political parties to even harvest their poll agents so that we can give them training on electoral issues and not on thuggery. But some of the political parties, you can see, the Assistant Commissioner of Police, who was with us in Bayelsa and in Kogi, has been saying that, one, that there are allegations of stockpiling of weapons, that some of the political parties are sewing police uniforms and sewing army uniforms in order to overwhelm the electoral process, and that they are doing things that are slightly unwholesome. So for us, the Nigerian people must weigh in on some of these political parties to make sure that they return to the path of sanity. And the path of sanity is the path that has been designed by the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria to the effect that you can only come to power through the votes of the people and through the ballot box. So we want them to return so that at the end of the day, the young men and young women we have trained, we go and conduct peaceful and credible elections.
I guess
of violence.
I guess the silver lining in all this. Mr. Okoye, I guess the silver lining is I hear that INEC is going to continue consultations with the stakeholders. So I want to believe these issues will be ironed out. But I'd like to thank you so much, Mr. Festus Okoye, INEC's National Commissioner, and, well, Mr. Festus Obun. He is an APC chieftain and a former member of the House of Representatives, and as well as Elder Yomi Akiwomi, the Deputy National Chairman for the PDP. Thank you so much for joining us on the program tonight. Well, that's our package tonight. Thank you for watching. I'm Kaido Kikele.